The Motorcycle Monster is brought to you by the MRA. Whether it's motorcycle insurance, roadside assistance, or motorcycle training, the MRA can save you hundreds. Remember, help is on the way with MRA. As the Motorcycle Monster crew travels around the world, it has become more apparent with each trip that the most impressive part of motorcycling is the ride. This comment is not meant to diminish the excitement of motorcycle events. We're always a little giddy as we approach the next biker party. The excitement grows as each venue matures and adds elements of excitement. Party venues like the Iron Horse, the Cabbage Patch, Gilley's in Daytona, or the famous Buffalo Chip in Sturgis always make for a festive, outrageous party that just seems to get better each year. The part of the adventure that really affects us most upon later reflection has become the part of the trip where we go out into the countryside and just ride. When we recently went to South Dakota for the Sturgis Rally and Races, this became most clear. I'm not sure if it's the historic grandeur and the cold chills we felt when we first viewed Mount Rushmore, or the almost overwhelming reverence we felt as we sat and reflected upon the tragic history of the American Indian when we visited the Crazy Horse 50-year project. The Crazy Horse Mountain is an ongoing project to fulfill a promise made by a Rushmore contributing sculptor, Korczak Zukowski, to a Lakota Indian chief. His promise was to build a monument to the most respected American Indian hero, Chief Crazy Horse. Even today, over 50 years later, 7 of Korczak's 10 children continue with their father's promise. One of the most amazing parts of this monumental task is that it is all privately funded. Another day we spent enjoying wild buffalo, deer, mountain goats, and various prairie dogs while riding the wilderness winding roads of Custer National Park. To gaze across the 1,000 acres of the Black Hills with no trace of civilization is breathtaking. To ride through the countryside, much like horseback riders did 150 years ago, we really began to understand the adage, it's not the destination, it's the ride. The adrenaline feeling when you're filming a 1,000-pound buffalo at 6 feet is a feeling I've never had before. Another important part of any ride is the new folks you meet as you stop for gas and food and an occasional beverage. The small towns in South Dakota are filled with what we call real people. Folks that look you in the eye and sincerely ask if you're enjoying the Black Hills and your two-wheeled voyage. They ask because they care and they sincerely want you to come back. They are anxious to share what they realize is a very special place. One extremely enjoyable part of this two-wheeled journey was the numerous towns and villages we visited with their own special character and charm. Towns like Deadwood, where you feel like you just missed seeing Wild Bill Hickok, or Hill City, where I just wanted to sit on a bench and enjoy the small-town feel of another time. Probably the most breathtaking sight I've ever experienced on a motorcycle was the road approaching Devil's Tower in eastern Wyoming. My father always said Wyoming is the most beautiful place on earth. As I rode along the winding road towards Devil's Tower, with open range, rolling hills, hundreds of deer and prairie dogs, and beautiful wildflowers everywhere, I knew exactly what my father had meant about Wyoming. With only a week to explore and discover, we only scratched the surface. As we began the sad process of packing and checking out of our hotel, the group suddenly got a new burst of energy when we began to plan for next year's adventure back to Sturgis. I think once you discover something really special in your life, you always plan to revisit those feelings. The grandeur of the countryside, the warmth of the people, and the excitement of the ride will bring the Monster crew back to the Black Hills many times. This is the Motorcycle Monster reporting from Sturgis, South Dakota.